Hi Stampin' friends, I'm going to show you how to make this side flap card using the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set and dies. We're using a lot of new in colors on this. We're using the Just Jade here on the background. We've used this nice, let me show you this beforehand. We've used this nice embossing folder here with the leaves, and it just so happens to be covered up by this little side piece that I put on of the matching sunflower 6x6 cardstock. So that looks kind of fun on there like that. We're also using that punches so that we can put the happy birthday on. Then on the inside, we have another spot here with a smaller sunflower that we'll stamp. Then we have this top flap, and I've just kind of mirrored this side. So this is a perfect card if you need a card that a lot of people can sign the same one, like for a milestone birthday when maybe you're having a party, or it's just something cute, or maybe you'd like to just write a lot, like if your friend is far away, you could write a lot. So anyway, let's get started. So the first thing that you do is you score at 4 1/4 on the short side, and you score at 5 1/2 on the long side. So you're just in half basically. So you have that, and then the next thing that you do is you cut one of the corners off, one of the edges. And you can see it doesn't necessarily matter which one you cut off. So then the next thing you're going to do, if you want to make one for yourself, is cut a 1/2 inch off each one. So I used the paper trimmer, and I just went down a 1/2 inch and up a 1/2 inch, and then cut these pieces off. So then with my paper trimmer, so I'm going to just show you that right now. So we can put it together like that. Like that. Hopefully that seems easy for you. Let me get this out of our way. All right, so now I have it like this, and you can see my card, and the way that it is put together is like this. Now, you could also make the card this direction and have it, this is why it has the name side flap, because this would be the side flap. So for us, it's really a top flap, but that's what the lady named it who invented it. So that's why we're calling it side flap. Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is start working on our stamping. So I have this, hold on just one second. I've already cut the die here, and then I want to stamp the inside. So I'm using my Stamparatus to make it easy to stamp more than one time if I need to. And so all I need to do here is line up my already die cut piece inside the little holder guy. And then I'm going to use Bumblebee as my yellow color. And then I'm going to use the Cinnamon Cider for the center. So what I want to do on this is use a sponge dauber and get all around the center edge here. Maybe even get a little more so that I have a nice, pretty, rich color in the center there. Okay. So then I will just try to make sure it's neatly in there, and then just stamp. Okay, there we go. That's how that looks when we're finished. So you can see it would be pretty easy to make several of these. And then after that, I'm just going to flip this over. Then thought I would show you how I attached one of these just so you could see how it was done. So then this one, I've cut out the smaller die. And then I'm just going to imagine placing it here see what I think about it, and then take the top, get it scooched just a little bit, like that. And then I'm just gonna ink this up again with our bumblebee. And I'm just inking the actual paper so that I can see if I like how that looks. And I feel like I probably do, except I feel like it could stand to go just a little bit towards this side. So I'm just gonna kind of give it a little scooch. Try maybe one more time. See if I can make that make sense for you. I think I need to move this up just a little. There. That's probably, whoops. Made it kind of messy there. I got hair in it. Okay, we don't want that. Yucky poo. Okay. Then let me try one more time. Let's see about that. Well, I didn't really move it all that much. Maybe I'll just scooch it down just a bit to the side and then put this little piece in. Okay. So now I do have my cinnamon, but I want to go ahead and use a die for my jade. So I mean, gosh, too funny. A sponge dauber for my jade. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to ink up my leaves with the jade. And oh, I should have done this first, so I'll go ahead and do that. Inking it up with my bumblebee. Do a good job on that as best I can. And go back in with my jade on my leaves, just like that. And then my cinnamon cider around the center. Be sure I get a good amount of that. There we are. Okay, so there's our little side piece, and then I'm just going to do one more because I need 2 of these. Well, as soon as I find it, I am. Maybe we'll pretend. I don't know what I did with the other one. I know I cut 2. Interesting. Oh, maybe I set this on it. I sure did. Okay, there we are. I'm just going to put that in there and try to do my bumblebee. And you could certainly use sponge daubers for the whole thing. That would probably be the most responsible thing to do with your inks. Keep them from getting muddied or anything. All right. Let's scooch that back in there. Stamp. And there we go on that one. So now we've done our stamping. I'm just going to set this stamparatus aside. Close up these inks. So we're using everything but the Marvelous Magenta on this card. Okay, so in order to do the happy birthday, let's see, I'll try to put this where you can see it without getting it inked up or anything. This right here, and you can see the way that the happy birthday is stamped. So what we'll need to do, what I've been doing, is looking at what I'm trying to do. Now I want to use the flat one. And what I've been doing is looking here on the back to see what I'm doing. Because I think it's much easier to keep it straight if you just, whoopsie, I think I moved it then, but for the most part, if you just look through the bottom here and get it right where you want it. So, be right like that. And there we go. And that one turned out real well. Here we are. this. And then you do the same thing with just a wider piece of the blue, you know, of the Misty Moonlight, and it just fills almost the whole slot there. So then again, you can see here what you're doing. Try to get it nice in the middle and hold it and punch. And then the same on the other end. Look in there and make sure that it's straight. Just a little scooch. And punch. And then you can see that turned out nicely. And then set this aside. And I'm going to use this Happy Birthday. I believe it's from the Itty Bitty Birthdays. So, and I probably should have done the Stamparatus for this as well, because you could also cut out a spot on it for this. But I mean, not Stamparatus, Stamp-A-Magic. But I'm just going to line this up as best I can and hope for good things. Oh, that's not a good thing. Let me try one more time. Try to scooch it down just a little bit. There we go, that works. So now we have that finished. I can get it, there we go. And lining through my stuff. Okay, now let me show you what to do if you do not have the stamp set. It is very easy to just use either your Wink of Stella or some kind of aqua painter or something to just color your, oh, I set that in the blue, that wasn't so good. You don't want to do that. But you can color your leaf piece like this, and that will make the card look pretty. You can use this, you know, pretty much the same color, or I suggest maybe crushed curry for the yellow, or one of the others. It'll just probably be just fine. This is the same technique that we used on the other cards that are that the other people made, the ones that were not the stamp set cards. They were the die cut cards. So this is how they did theirs. So it's pretty simple. And then by the time you put this over the top, you almost can't even tell that it's not stamped. So if you do it this way, you probably want to go over all of your pieces like this and just give them some Wink of Stella, just so that it kind of goes together with your other things, if that makes sense. Just kind of give it a little bit of smooching of the Wink of Stella. That's what makes it kind of cute. Okay, then to put this together with this, you just need a glue dot. I'll put a glue dot on each where the leaf would be attached to a stem to hold it onto the plant. That's where you put that. Makes it pretty easy. And then we want to take our Happy Birthday. Was this the one, or was this the other one? Who even knows? Well, we'll just hope it's the right one. And you just want to mount it on this piece. Whoops. So it's kind of even. Top and bottom and both sides as best you can. Okay, so we have that. We have this, and we're ready to attach this to the top of the card. So you just want to use Mono Multi Glue, or you can use whatever adhesive you tend to like. And if you've had some of yours fall out, you can get some paper to put back in there, or just punch them all out, just whatever appeals. But you can see here there are these 3 in a row that kind of veer off to the left, and those are good ones to use to line up your sunflower. Okay, so now we have that. And so we're ready to get started putting the card together. So let's start on the inside. We have several pieces of cardstock. We have a piece that is layered onto this green that's just a little bit smaller. You should have both of those pieces. It's probably good to go ahead and lay these out just so that it's easy to find what you're looking for, because we should also have, and we do, a larger piece of Whisper White for this side. As you can see, it has the regular size Whisper White, and then this is a smaller piece because we have layered it on the Just Jade. So we're ready to do that. Put that on this piece. And I suppose there's really no reason, if you prefer to do it the other way, that'd be fine too. So you want to layer this onto the Just Jade. And you probably don't need a whole lot of adhesive on this, because you're basically just sticking it down to the, and I don't know what my problem is with this thing, but you're basically just sticking it to the card base. So you just, little pieces would probably be sufficient. Probably if you could get them just in the corners, that would probably be ideal. But anyway. I've tried pulling this several different directions. I don't know. Tries my patience. Okay, then let's get that as centered as you can. You're ready to put it on this piece. There we go. Okay, so as you can see on this one, I'm ready to put my little polka dot pieces on the card. And they are the back side of this jade. So it's possible that you could think that this would look better, and I won't be offended, of course, if you do. So no problem. And these are positioned just about, maybe 1/8 of an inch from each side. I mean, 1/4 inch from each side of the, showing some of the yellows, of the Whisper White, of course. Just to kind of give it a little scooch. And it is possible to kind of scooch this one direction or the other when it's first set down, but once you've pressed it down, it's pretty much stuck. Okay, and then I want to put it over here. Pretty much the same thing. Try to get it even. The edge. There we go. All right. So now we just need to put on these little guys. We're going to use dimensionals, of course, for that. Easy peasy. And here, and since we used the Wink of Stella on these, you'll want to go ahead and put Wink of Stella on the smaller ones as well. Okay. And then I put the leaves to the outside. You can do it however you want. Certainly doesn't matter, but that's pretty much the way I kind of did it. And then I kind of offset them, one at the bottom and one towards the top, just for variety, as you look at the card. Okay, now we're ready to work on this part of the card, which is here. So I folded that down, and that needed to have been cut off, and I didn't show you that. I am sorry. We'll see if I can get it with this paper cutter here. There we go. All right, so the plan is that this is the pretty paper that we put on the top. So we need to cut off just about, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Let's start with maybe 3/8 might be the way to go. So you just want to line it up on your paper cutter and just cut off a little bit. So go from, there would be 1/8. That might be the way to start right there. Let's see. let's imagine our paper on here. See, no, I think we need a little more. Give that a little scooch over. Maybe about right there. That seems about right. Now let's see if we like that. Yeah, I think that's nice. So, to tell you how much I got off, yes, it is not quite a half. I would say it's just under a ½ inch. A noticeable amount under, like a 1/16 under a ½ inch. All right, and then I am ready to attach this to the flap, to the big whatever of what we're talking about. It's the exciting flap. And what I'm having to do on this is start it up rolling again. So I tried to do several different ways of doing this, and yeah, I just may not have the skills it takes. It's possible. I've had some problems before with some other kinds of adhesives, so it's possible. It's possible, it just takes practice as well. All right, so I have that. Then I have my little pieces. I'm going to put 2 toward the top, and then I wanted it to have variety, so I put 2 of the same one toward the bottom or toward the top, and then the other that direction, if that makes sense. And then I have this little square that's going to go on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my glue dots to glue these down. There we go. All right. So at this point, I think I'm ready to try to stamp this with my Just Jade again. Put that aside so I don't mess it up. So I love this sentiment. It's to a friend that makes me smile. I think that is super sweet. So we'll see if I can get this on here nicely or not. Who knows? Not bad. So, and that lightens up as time goes on, as it dries. Okay, so then I'm ready for some dimensionals. Let's put, probably, honestly, it's probably best to put all 4 on here because that'll just stick it down securely and nicely, especially since we have the these little guys from the dies. I think it'll just be most secure that way. So then to a friend that makes me smile, I just kind of want to get it in the center. There we go. So now we have the inside finished. We're ready to work on the front. And you can see my front card here. So now we just need one of these that is done with this pretty embossing folder. And then we need our other, here it is, our other side piece. And so I'm going to attach this to the base first. Oh, I want to be sure and leave the side that doesn't have a lot of embossing on it on the left, because that's the side I'm going to cover up. Then as I'm getting it on here, just kind of make sure it looks fairly straight. There we go. And then down the side, I want to just barely cover up the jade,
and leave a little bit of the blue on the side. I just think that looks nice. If you don't, you can do your own thing, of course. There we go. And then I'm ready to attach this, and I think I'd like to use glue dots. You don't have to, of course. Not glue dots, dimensionals, because I'm going to use glue dots for the leaves so that they can tuck under here in a minute. So there we go. Just decide which way you think looks best, which side do you think looks best going up, and then be sure and leave room for your happy birthday down here. There we go. And then what I would do is use a glue dot on both sides of your leaf, because that will attach it securely to both the flower itself and to the card base. So just wherever you think it would look pretty, maybe like right there. There we are. And then just the same thing on the other side. There we are. And then we just need to attach our happy birthday. And you could put it on dimensionals, or you could put it on put it on with Stampin' Seal. And just pop it right there. Kind of make it look like make it feel like you're in the center. And then I noticed right here, I kind of have a little puffy spot. You can often fix that with just sliding a glue dot in. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but just kind of slide it right in there and stick it down. And then that will make it look a lot neater. I don't know if you can even see what I was talking about, but it was kind of not stuck right there. And I was able to stick it down with a glue dot. So as you can see, that was a pretty simple card for as many layers as it had. And I think it was a lot of fun to make, and it would be great with a variety of different stamp sets. So I hope you're able to find something that you like to use with this stamp set. So I appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.